You're doing it wrong. Here's 3 tips to make your drone footage look more cinematic. The DJI Mavic 3 Pro. This is one of my favorite drones. I've had 4 drones so far. I lost 2 of them, 3 of them from a crash. So that's why I take my drone flight and flying my drone really serious. And a lot of times when I fly my drone, my heart is pumping. But here are 3 tips that you need to know before you start flying your drone, or just to make your footage look more cinematic. So let's go. First rule of business, we have to put that bad boy in the air. My first tip for flying your drone and making sure that you're doing it correctly to get more of those cinematic looks, you need to make sure you slow it down, okay? Slow it down. That is the first most important thing. When you're doing the shots, sometimes the shots are not giving the viewer enough time to actually sit with the frame, to understand what you're framing up and what they're seeing. So typically I say, give it about 3 to 4 seconds before you go into your next cut. So you're going too fast, slow it down. I would forget the memory card that goes in here, but it's okay. It has internal memory, so that's really dope. We'll be able to use that. I have about 6 minutes, that's more than enough. So let's go get to it. Alrighty. Oh, where I went my hands. Alrighty. First thing first, what I'll be telling y'all, shoot on the opposite side of the sun. You see how when you take it slow, you can see things happening. I see the birds moving. And so now I'm pushing up and panning. I'm sorry. I'm pushing in and tilting and going up at the same time. Double movement there. Third movement coming in with my left hand as I'm pulling it down a tiny bit. Perfect. There we go. Excellent. I know y'all be wanting to see what I'm doing. Let me think. Alrighty, cool. So look, sun's on the opposite side right here. You see how everything looks? We're gonna do a push in here. Oh, actually, I want to, let me frame that up. Oh, I like that too. I wanna frame it up with this street. So I would go like this. Leading lines here, people, leading lines. Look at that. Also, I always shoot in manual. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful shot right there. Sun behind the city. You see how the skyline looks? Look at the birds flying by. Ah, beautiful shot. I'm very, very, very happy about this shot. And that leading line right down into the city. I love that, love that, love that. All right, and as you see, it's panning a little bit to the right here until I get that street into the middle. Excellent. And now I'm gonna go ahead and frame up my next shot exactly how I want it. Sun's in there. We're gonna start pushing in. Slow movement, slow movement. Slow movement always allows you to be able to really see what's going on. That's gonna take that cinematic vibe to the next level. I think a lot of times when I see people shooting and editing their drone work, it's just a little too fast. Like I said, I would probably give each frame about 4 to 6 seconds to breathe before I cut to the next shot. Alrighty, that was beautiful. Alrighty, let's get us another shot. I kind of like this. That other one when we were moving to the right, let's kind of do that again. Let's kind of see if we can move to the right and get this building here. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually track the building. It makes it a little bit easier to do the shot. So I can start panning. Ooh, going too fast, going too fast, going too fast. All right, that's not how I wanted it to look. Let's try that again. See, I'm going to the right, but I want the drone's camera to go to the left so I can start going around that building. So my hands are going opposite from each other, my fingers, my thumbs. But you see, I'm taking it slow, giving the viewer enough time to actually take in the frame that I'm making here. and I made sure that I took it the same direction as last time. All right, so which leads me to my second point, you guys. You want to make sure when you're flying your drone, you want to make sure that, when you're editing your drone footage, you want to make sure that you cut in the same direction. Just like in the last shot where I had the drone kind of like pan towards the right, and I wanted to make sure I lined up the street as it was going straight down into the city. That same exact shot I need to kind of get again, but not the same exact shot. I need to make sure that my next shot that I'm editing there will go in that same direction. So that's why I'm panning to the right, to make sure I have shots that are within that same direction. That's gonna help each of your clips when you're making the video look way more cinematic, because all of them are moving in the same direction. So you're kind of telling more of a story this way. All right, little bonus tip on the editing part. If you don't always have to cut to the beat. You don't always have to cut in the same direction, but I think it's important to know the typical standards or what most people would do. So this way, the rules, if you go and break the rules, it makes sense why you broke the rules, why you didn't cut in the same direction. You're able to explain it because you know the difference between cutting in the same direction and not cutting in the same direction. So I think that's very important. All right, let's see. We have that type of shot. What do I want now? I want to get, I don't think that's good. I think I'll do it at the intersection over here. I want to get a shot going down. All right, I think this can kind of work. All right, framing everything up again. I would just slowly push down. This would kind of be like a push in shot, so it can match with something else. Excellent, excellent shot there. Also, you want to make sure when you flying that drone, the two best times to fly the drone are going to be sunset and sunrise, or should I say sunrise and sunset. Excellent shot there. Damn, I wish the X was a little bit better like that when I did the shot. Cool, awesome, got that shot. Alrighty. I want to show you guys quickly the difference between when you shoot with the sun behind the drone, you're gonna get more of a flat look. You're not gonna be able to, well, it really depends. You're not necessarily you're gonna get the flat look if the sun is high in the sky. That's why the two best times are gonna be sunrise and sunset, because of the way that the sun is in the sky. It angles, it's at an angle, almost like that 45-degree angle, where everything now has this nice, as you can see, shadow, how the light is shaping it. And so that's important for the drone when it's in the sky, because you want to make sure you see those shadows, those contrasts that adds the cinematic vibe. And so making sure you fly at the right time is so important. Flying at the right time. And for me, I've always found keeping the sun in front of the drone as some of my most cinematic shots. So what do we have so far? We have take it slow. Don't fly the drone too fast. Ran out of memory. We have take it slow. Don't fly the drone too fast. That's our first tip. Our second tip is to make sure that we fly in the same direction when we edit. Okay, I'm sorry. Make the cuts when you edit in the same direction. So if you're panning to the right, the next shot that follows that needs to pan towards the right. If you're pushing in, the next shot that follows that is a push in, so that they can feel more natural when you go from shot to shot. And I also told you to let those shots breathe. That was in tip number 1, for 4 to 5 seconds. So we got, don't go too fast, 4 to 5 seconds, shooting in the same direction. And then my last tip was to, dang, I'll be forgetting. All right, my baby acting like she about to die, so let me go on and grab her real quick. And then also, like I told you guys, best time. The best times to shoot is gonna be what? Sunrise and sunset, because of the way that the sun is angling at the buildings and how the shadows look, okay? So that was 3 things there for you. Now my 4th tip, I don't know if I should, I kind of just showed you it. Like, you know, when it's landing, you can literally let it land in your hand. And then what you're gonna do is drop it to the side like that. That's gonna make sure that those propellers stop and you should be good to go. But wait until it lands in your hand. Don't try to grab it out the sky. You'll see, it'll land in your hand. It can sense the landing pad, okay? And then you drop it to the side, the propellers will stop, and that's how you're gonna look like a pro, baby. I know what it is, my bonus tip. I remembered. Okay, so if you guys stuck around this long to be able to find the bonus tip is, if you wanna take yourself from beginner and intermediate to a pro with the drone, you gotta do a paraxle move. You have to do a move that has 3 different points to it, okay? So that would mean maybe you are bringing the drone down while it's moving forward, while the camera is moving at the same time. A lot of times, the easiest way for me to get that kind of shot, oh, it's a squirrel. The easiest way for me to get that shot is for me to track the item, because then the drone will track that, and that's gonna be one of my movements, giving my fingers enough time to hit those other 2 moves. But there are a lot of times where I hit the 3 moves. I have hit, I'm moving down, I'm coming down, I'm moving forward, and then I pull the camera up. I did this in a race shot when I was getting all the horses. They were going fast, but I needed to bring the camera down. I needed to pan it forward still, and then I took the camera, because I had it down bird's eye view, and I started panning it up at the same time. And that gives you that extreme dynamic shot that's gonna make sure that they know, baby, you are not a beginner. So that's your pro tip. Go out there, be creative, and if this video helps you in any type of way with your drone, with any kind of creativity, drop me a like, drop me a comment, and make sure you subscribe, baby, because we taking it all the way to the top. Let's go.